Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Phyllis, and it's breakfast time. And I'm wanting to show you something that my mother did when I was a child. I like to teach people how to do things my mother did when I was a child because I don't know if mothers do these things anymore. This is old-fashioned cooking. But we had some leftover mashed potatoes, which they're red potatoes with the skins in, as you can see. And I can eat these things right, I'll show you. These things are so good, I could just eat them right out of the bowl. But, you see, my husband does not like cold potatoes for breakfast. And I wanted to make him some potato pancakes. Now, what my mother would have done, and I'm sorry, and it's a good thing I didn't do it last night, because I can show you what she would have done last night, and she would have let these things just sit overnight like this. So I'll just show you what she would do before she put the mashed potatoes away. She wouldn't even put them away until she chopped up some onions. And these potatoes are salted enough, so I don't need to add any salt. These potatoes were delicious. So I'm going to throw some onions in there. And I'm going to put a couple eggs in there. And a little bit of flour, but I don't know what I did with my flour. Hold on. A little bit of flour, not much. It just depends upon how moist this makes it. So she would chop up onions in it. And you know, this is something you can do for Hanukkah. We celebrate Hanukkah only in our mind and appreciation because I'm so thankful that the temple was reclaimed. And I know that there was a serious sacrifice made by the people that cleansed the temple in 8 days. And Yahusha attended the, well, he observed Hanukkah. They called it the temple, the dedication of the temple. One thing I didn't have in these mashed potatoes is pepper. Let me go get my pepper. My pepper's over here because we were using it at dinner. All right. I like a lot of pepper, but I don't put, my son came over last night, and you might have seen the videos. If you're wondering about the video of Cosmo, it says Cosmo, the Magic Movie, I'm sorry. It's a new program that my daughter-in-law, well, fiance-in-law, showed me on my phone. And there was a picture there of Cosmo, my son's German Shepherd. Okay, now the eggs make the potatoes a lot easier. So now I've got eggs, and I've got potatoes, and pepper. And you can still see the red potato skins. when restaurants or anybody advertises mashed potatoes with red potato skins, that just means they didn't go to the trouble of peeling the potatoes, and they're proud of that. Actually, I think that's smart, not peeling potatoes. Now, my mother would let this sit overnight, and then the next morning, all the flavor of the onion and the pepper would be through it. And then she would simply hit, she wouldn't add any olive oil. She would not add olive oil. You know what she'd add? Bacon grease. She'd open this big tub. Well, it's not, she wouldn't have to open it. She would just take this tub of bacon grease, and if she didn't have any bacon grease, she would use the other tub of lard, and she would just scoop, throw it in there, melt it. I could have put butter in there to melt, but the olive oil, I think, is probably all I really need. I'm just going to let that warm up. And then after I got to talking about butter in there, I think I'm going to throw some butter in there for a little extra flavor. Why not? Don't ever use margarine, people. Margarine was a lie that because they were trying to find another use for their petroleum products. So they talked you into eating margarine. Oh well, don't eat margarine. It's a lie. It's not better for you. Just control how much butter you eat. Now I've got a mixture of butter and oil in this pan. I'm just going to let that butter melt. And this is a little bit too moist. That's what my mother would use. She would add enough flour. And of course, this is my whole grain flour. She would add just enough flour so that she could make them into cakes. I was wondering what I was going to do with this leftover. This is leftover from when I did the naan. Remember the naan? I still have some pieces left. Remember that naan? I'm going to warm this up to go with our... Oh, we have some steak left over too. So I like my leftover steak cold, but I'm going to chop his steak up and warm it up for him. We're going to have steak and potatoes for breakfast with a little naan thrown in there. Okay, I get you. You're hot. All right, don't be so uppity. I'm ready. Here we go. I'm going to put a little flour in my hands and form potato patties. That might be a little bit too moist. I'm going to get a little bit more flour and mix it around. I'm going to just go ahead and get my fingers in it. That's got to happen anyway. Put my fingers in it when I'm making dough. I can put my fingers in it when I'm making potato pancakes too. But I got to turn that fire down. And as you can see, I've got a mess in my hands. Uh-oh. I need to move this around. I need to pat that down. And I need to turn this fire down. I still think it needs a little more flour. I've defouled this flour by sticking my dirty hands down in it. So, well, I need a new stand. That just didn't work well because this one, it just gives away. I'm going to turn that fire up just a little bit. Now that one, when I put a little bit more flour, each one of these has had more flour added to it. And you see how much better that turned over. Yeah, I definitely have to get another stand, or I need... Oh, look at that. It just totally discombobulated itself. That's all right. I can deal with that. It could discombobulate. I think that's enough for today. I think I'm going to put the rest of this back and have the rest of this for lunch, because we don't need any more potatoes than that. I could eat that whole plate. Anyway, so my son came over last night and we grilled steaks, and I made mashed potatoes, and he grilled corn. And he grilled corn on the cob. This is one that didn't get eaten. Look at this. You just wrap them up in Reynolds wrap and put them in the top rack of your grill while you're grilling, and just leave them on the whole time, because they'll be up. They won't get overcooked, and you can't undercook or overcook corn. It's just delicious no matter what you do with it. I'll probably cut the corn off of this cob and share it with Liv. So there you have it, folks. You have watched me make, come on now, don't do it again. You have watched me make potato. Now that is perfect. That's exactly what they come out looking like when you do it right. In fact, I think this is the most successful job I've had of fixing potato pancakes. I probably should have left that down a little bit longer, but yeah. Well, you don't have to wait for them to cook. They're already cooked. You're just waiting for the eggs to get, I guess the eggs do have to cook. So, there you have it. It's going to be delicious. I don't even have to taste them in front of you because I know. Have a blessed day. And I might cook up some more of these so we can have them for Sabbath. I just realized they'll keep cooked up leftover as well. Love you. Shalom. Have a blessed day. And remember, be the bride by keeping the commandments.